Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the Champions Report for the WBC, the World Boxing Council, as we cover all divisions from 122 pounds all the way to heavyweight and champions. Before we get into that, if you guys could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate any and all support that I get as I try to build my channel up. Any kind of love, much appreciated. If you don't like what I'm doing, you can give me a thumbs down or send me a comment letting me know why you don't like what I'm doing, and I will openly, take your criticism. But be that as it may, let's get back into the WBC. Again, the World Boxing Council. This is generally the green belt. Well, it's always the green belt, not generally. It's always the green belt that you see for title belts in the ring. And we will cover every champion from 122 to heavyweight. So we start with 122 pounds. The champion there is the undefeated WBC and unified champion, Stephen Fulton Jr. He also holds the WBO title. Fulton is set for a super fight that was supposed to take place in May, but an injury to the monster Naoya Inoue forced this fight to be pushed back. And now July 25th, a Tuesday, on ESPN, Stephen Fulton Jr. would defend both his titles against the monster Naoya Inoue, multi-division champion. Big time fight right here. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be a good one. I really think it's a pick-em fight. Very happy these two guys are squaring off. I will give my prediction on the fight when I do my next Champions Report, which will be at the end of June before this fight takes place. But remember, July 25th, ESPN, Fulton and Inoue. 126 featherweight. The champion there is reigning champ Ray Vargas. Vargas moved up to 130 pounds in his last fight in February to try to become a 3-division world champion. He came up short, losing to O'Shaquie Foster, and now has moved back down to 126, where next he is likely going to be fighting interim champion Brandon Figueroa, who is his mandatory challenger. Figueroa became the mandatory by defeating Mark Magsayo in March, and now these two guys are supposed to be on a collision course. It looks like they're going to collide possibly in the summertime, but definitely in the second half of the year, and I'm hoping by the next Champions Report at the end of June that this fight will be signed and sealed and good to go. 130 super featherweight. The champion there is O'Shaquie Foster, who I just mentioned. He defeated Ray Vargas for the vacant title back in February, and we have not heard anything yet about his initial defense. I'm assuming he'll be back by the summer or fall, but again, haven't heard anything about who his opponent could be. And once we find out, hopefully by the next Champions Report, we know which direction and what he's thinking about at the very least. 135 lightweight. The WBC champion there is the undefeated and undisputed champion, Devin Haney, who holds all 4 major titles at 135. Haney is set to return Saturday, May 20th, ESPN pay-per-view, in the biggest fight of his career, as he will put his WBC and undisputed titles on the line against former 3-division world champion Vasily Lomachenko. This is a big-time fight for both men. Both, in my opinion, the biggest fights of their career, and I personally cannot wait to see this one on May 20th. It's going to be a tactical fight, battle of 2 really good technicians, chess match all the way. I am personally picking Vasily Lomachenko to win this fight by stoppage in the late rounds or by a decision, and to become the undisputed lightweight champion. Now, I absolutely believe that Devin Haney could pull this one off. He's actually the favorite going in on paper right now. But I just think Vasily Lomachenko has too much for Devin Haney, and I think he's going to beat him to become undisputed champ. But should be very good. Again, May 20th, ESPN pay-per-view. 140, junior welterweight. The champion there is Regis Prograis. Prograis has not fought since November, and still does not have his next fight finalized since we found out that Jose Ramirez was ducking him and didn't want to fight him. Prograis has been in talks with Jack Catterall, former world title challenger, but but nothing has come from those talks as of yet. So I'm hoping that is the case, that he's going to be fighting Catterall, but we shall see. So hopefully by the next Champions Report, we find out what Prograis is doing next. Next up is 147, welterweight. The reigning and undefeated WBC and unified champion is Errol Spence Jr. He also holds the WBA Super and the IBF welterweight titles. So Spence and Terrence Crawford, the undefeated WBO champion, are in talks, serious talks, to finally get this undisputed title showdown to happen. It's very close to getting done, but as Steven Espinosa said of Showtime, that it was close last year too when it didn't get done. So I'm staying optimistic that I believe that these two guys will fight, and hopefully by the next Champions Report we know when that fight is going to take place. But until it gets done, I'm not going to believe it all the way. But for Spence, he could be fighting Keith Thurman if the fight does not get done. He could be fighting him at 154 pounds. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we find out something by the next Champions Report. 154 super welterweight. The champion there is the undisputed champion, Jermell Charlo. Charlo holds all 4 major titles at 154. We know he was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu in January, injured his hand, had to get surgery. There was talks about him and Tim Tszyu fighting in June, the summer, but right now it's looking like that fight could fall back to the fall if it happens still. Charlo has not said anything concrete yet. I'm hoping by the next Champions Report we know at least the time frame of if and when he's still going to fight Tim Tszyu. 160 middleweight. The undefeated WBC champion is Jermall Charlo. Charlo has not defended his title in almost 2 years now, and he does not have his next fight on the schedule. There's been, claims of injuries and different things like that, but, nothing that we know of is holding him back from being able to fight. He's just not fighting. I think he's waiting around for a big-time money fight, but that doesn't seem to be coming his way. So we really don't know what he's going to do next. If I had to guess, I couldn't tell you concrete which way I'm going, but I can tell you that most of me feels like he's just going to take a stay busy fight next, maybe against the same guy that he was going to fight last year, Maciej Sulecki, before his apparent injury. So that's what I think could possibly go down, or the most likely option. Hopefully we know by the next Champions Report. 168 super middleweight. The WBC and reigning undisputed champion is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo is set to return this Saturday, May 6th, the Zone pay-per-view, as he's putting his WBC and undisputed title on the line against WBO interim champion and mandatory challenger John Ryder from the United Kingdom. Ryder previously challenged for a world title back in 2019, came up short in a controversial decision loss to Callum Smith. He has earned his way back, and now he is hungry. I believe Canelo is going to dominate John Ryder, break him down, and stop him in the middle of the later rounds, but I also believe that if Canelo is overlooking John Ryder in any way, shape, or form, John Ryder has a potential to pull off an upset. So we'll see what happens. Saturday, May 6th, the Zone pay-per-view, Canelo and Ryder. 175 light heavyweight. The reigning WBC and undefeated unified champion is Arthur Beterbiev. Beterbiev holds also the WBO and the IBF titles at 175. And next, it's looking like he's going to be defending against Callum Smith. A purse bid was ordered and has been won now, and now we're just waiting around for that fight to possibly get finalized. There was talks about him and Dimitri Bivol colliding for the undisputed title, but the WBC came out and said that they would not sanction that fight due to the fact that Dimitri Bivol is a Russian fighter, and they are not going to sanction any Russian fighters as long as the Russia and Ukraine conflict is still going on. So I personally believe it's going to be Callum Smith next, and I'm hoping that fight gets finalized by the next Champions Report. 200 cruiserweight, the newly crowned champion there is Badu Jack of Sweden, the 39-year-old 3-division world champion now, defeated Ilunga Makabu back in February. There's been no news about what he's possibly going to be doing next. I'm hoping by the next Champions Report we get some kind of idea of which direction Jack might be going in. And finally, at heavyweight, the reigning undefeated heavyweight king is Tyson Fury. Fury hit the potential fight and undisputed title clash with Alexander Usyk seems to be off the table for good now, at least for the time being. And it looks like Fury has about 3 options on the table that have been mentioned. The first of which is former unified champion Andy Ruiz Jr., who's also the interim champion to his belt. Then there's also Zhali Zhang, who just defeated Joe Joyce. He's been mentioned as a possible opponent. And then Deontay Wilder, a 4th fight, has also been mentioned as a possibility for Tyson Fury next. I think we're going to find out very soon what Tyson Fury is going to be doing and if he's going to be defending his title, by June or July. So hopefully we know by the next Champions Report what's going on. I'm hoping, to be honest, that it's the showdown with Andy Ruiz above all other fights, but we'll see what happens. And that's it. That's the WBC Champions Report, the World Boxing Council, the green belt. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be back with another Champions Report on the WBC at the end of June. And this is True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.